This video is made possible by Max at Naperville Cadillac. Naperville Cadillac offers no BS pricing, meaning what you see is what you pay. No hidden fees, the way car buying should be. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1993 Mercedes 300 CE. Up front is a 3.2 liter straight six and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here 300 CE for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't bring many older Mercedes to the channel all that often, so it's always exciting to bring you guys another one. But the other reason is the fact that this car is so well kept. This is a true time capsule for the period, and that to me is always just so exciting. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to get a video made just like this for your own car through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 3.2 liter under the hood. Well, it makes about 228 horsepower from that straight six, which I absolutely love. Is it a cutting edge, quick vehicle? No, not even really by 93 standards. It's definitely reasonable and it'll get up and out of its own way, but don't expect it to be a rocket ship. This is a cruiser. A very, very comfortable cruiser. And that inline six really does feel that way. It's nice and smooth. When I do get it up to power, here we go. It doesn't seem all that bothered. However, like I said, paired to a 4-speed automatic, I do think that that is sort of killing that horsepower, because as I floored it right there, it didn't kick down at all. I'll start it from a stop here to try to get it into first gear. Maybe that'll feel a little bit peppier. A little bit, but it's still not quite as tight as I would want it to be. However, that's okay. 4-speed automatic was pretty normal for this era, the early 90s, and so I'm not complaining. Last but not least, however, the 300 CE is rear wheel drive. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of gauges, really, really nice older Mercedes gauges. On the left, I have my coolant temperature, oil pressure, and fuel. In the center, I get my speedometer. Really, really like that. And off to the right, I have a tachometer and a clock, as well as some warning lights. This is, of course, the late 80s, early 90s design, so the warning lights are very visible even when off. This trend sort of went away. Car makers didn't want to show off what could possibly go wrong, but in the 80s and 90s, they were very visible. The steering wheel doesn't have any buttons on it. I do get an SRS airbag, of course. This is the airbag era, and a horn. And then off to the left, I do have my headlight switches, fog light switches for front and rear fog lights, and a climate control vent. Moving on to the door, I do have my latch to get in and out, of course, and then my power seats with 2 different memory seat options. 1993 memory seats, pretty impressive for the 300 CE. But nothing else to report on the door. I don't get window switches. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents and a bunch of buttons for like rear defrost, recirculating. I actually have a snow tire button, which is very, very interesting. And off to the right, I have what looks like a fuse. This looks like a little automotive fuse button, but it's actually for the rear headrests. Look at that. That's pretty cool. They get tall, oh my God. And then we can put them back down like that as well. I think that's super cool and unique. Then I do get some very basic climate controls, temperature to the far left, where to send it in the middle, fan speed off to the right. Then I get the factory Mercedes radio. Not a big fan of this, mainly because the volume is actually like a switch. So you have to keep clicking it up or keep clicking it down if you want it louder or quieter. However, this is 90s and that volume knob feels very cheap. I feel like I'm gonna break it, which isn't something I wanna feel in my Mercedes. But then down below, I get my cigarette lighter and ashtray, and then a previous owner must have added or optioned this Pioneer unit in the center. It is actually a CD disc changer. However, The changer is not right here. This is just the controls for it. But off to either side, I do have heated seat options, which I will not be using on this hot June afternoon, but you can use that in the winter. And then I have the shifter, like I said, 4-speed automatic. It feels a little flimsy, a little bit cheap. However, not the end of the world. You put it into drive and then you forget about it. Then I have a bunch of switches down below. I do have my window switches down here, which I do have 4 windows, so I can put up these little half windows over my shoulder, which is kind of funny. But I also get my power mirror adjustments. What really annoys me, just because of my OCD, is that you switch it left to right to do left or right mirrors, but you can't leave it in the center, so it's always going to be pointed either left or right. Slightly annoying. Then I get my little power top button, which looks kind of like a power top, which is pretty cool. So let's pull over and I'll show you how to operate it. All right, so to operate the top, you do have these handles up here you gotta pull down and unlatch, and then you use that button and up it comes. And then you pull it the rest of the way, latch it in, and there you have it. That's the roof on. Then I do get a little cubby and an armrest. I can open the armrest and I can open that cubby down below. Tons of storage options. However, you actually don't get a cup holder here in the 1993 Mercedes 300 CE, so it unfortunately fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are nice and comfortable. You do notice the fact that everything in here is blue. This car is blue on blue, which is awesome. So retro, so 90s, and I absolutely love it. However, something really cool and interesting is the seat belt. So when you get into the car, the seat belt will actually sort of present itself to you, which is very, very nice, a cool luxury feature, and makes it so you don't have to lean quite as much to get your seat belt on. Really, really like that. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back, there's a little button over here that helps me fold this forward, and then I can just step in here and sit down. Once this is back in place, I don't have a ton of room back here. This is good for kids or shorter, smaller people. I'm 5'11", I don't really fit well back here. However, the seats themselves are comfortable. Of course, I do get my own seat belts, and I can also control the rear headrest back here as well. I have the exact same button you see up front down here by my right knee, and so I can raise and lower them if I would like to do so as well, which is very nice that they give the rear seat occupants that option. Other than that, nothing too crazy over here, but let's go hop around back. We'll take a look at the trunk and see how much space the power mechanisms take up, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the 300 CE, and first of all, I just think this is such a cool angle of the car, but let's come around here, lift it up, and as you can see up here, this sort of shelf, this is where the power top mechanism lies. However, you still get an okay amount under here. Every convertible pretty much is going to sacrifice a little bit of trunk space for the top. However, not the end of the world, and you still do get a fairly spacious trunk. But I like this little warning label. If you can read that, I'll try to, there we go. The trunk lock will also lock and unlock the doors. Good to know. Cool stuff. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and as I mentioned earlier with the blue on blue 90s aesthetic, I love how regal and presentable and luxurious this car really looks. I think overall this is one of the best looking Mercedes convertibles to ever come out of Germany, and I absolutely love that. I think it just looks very, very proportional. I think it looks good, and when I think of like a rich person in a movie, this car often comes to mind, maybe in red, but other than that. I do also want to point out up at the headlights, we do have headlight wipers, something that has seemingly gone away from the automotive market, which is just, you know, it's cool to see. It's kind of fun. But now let's get on to my final thoughts here on the 1993 Mercedes 300 CE. Well, I really, really love driving this car. It's so luxurious for the era, and it's just such a well-kept car like this. This is such a time capsule. With the top down, cruising around town, I can't imagine many more cars I'd want to be in. Now, if I wanted to hit the slaloms or the canyons or a backcountry road, I might get into a little bit of trouble. This thing is floaty. However, if that's what you want, that's what you get. And I really, really love that about this. Yeah, the 4-speed auto kind of kills that engine, but the engine's nice and smooth and the transmission's smooth. The driving experience is smooth. This is not supposed to be a fast, quick car. This is something where if you have to stop by the office on a weekend, let me take the drop top. Let me take the 300 CE. I'll stop by and grab my business papers, and then we'll take a leisurely stroll up to the Hamptons for the weekend. That's the sort of vibe I get from this car, and I really like that. This was 90s luxury, and it's just so cool to be driving such a time capsule like this one. Huge thank you to Cadillac of Naperville for letting me take out their 300 CE. Go in and see Mdemare. He's absolutely awesome. He is so knowledgeable about these vehicles. Please go check him out if you're interested in buying this 300 CE. Reach out to him, let him know you're looking. He works with both experienced and inexperienced buyers, so if you have any questions, he can answer them. And I'm so thankful that they let me take this car out. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.